What's up, Foxtrotters? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. If you're returning, hello. It's so nice to see you all again. You guys look great. Yes, you person who woke up this morning and realized that that tickle you felt in your throat last night has now developed into a full-blown, phlegmatic cold. You look great. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day wherever you are. If you're at home, work, or school, I'm excited to bring to you an r/AntiMLM trash video. Yes, I am still working on that Octavia video. It's just that one takes a little bit more work, which is fine. I just want to make sure I do it justice and do my proper investigation in air quotes every time, investigations. But I am very busy with school right now. Work too, but school right now is really kind of taking control, which is fine. I am paying to go to school, so that's kind of the point, right? I have a big midterm coming up in biology, and then I also have for my biology lab, I have a big old test on the full skeletal system along with the muscular system on top of it. So, just want to make sure I am giving myself proper time to get my studies done because I want to be a good student in my 30s. I might not have been in my younger days, but in my 30s, gosh darn it, I'm going to try. All right, folks, so if you want to see an r/AntiMLM trash video, then please stay tuned. And before we dive in, let's have a quick wholesome fan art moment. This was sent over by Dev Kenzie. Thank you so much, Dev. This is super cool. I definitely need eye drops after seeing that shirt. It's pretty perfect. Well done. Thank you so much for sending this. If you have any fan art you want to send my way, I would love to show it off here. Go ahead and send it to my email. It's in my channel description, and I'll have it up here at some point. Thank you so much for doing this. A friend of mine on Facebook just posted this. Sounds like she's been visited by the ghosts of high schools past recently. In case anyone was curious, I'm fine, and I've been good. I'm happy that you discovered a new endeavor that you want to share business ideas with. However, I already have a job where I work Monday through Friday, and I am not looking for other sources of income. If you want to chat with me, that's fine, because I love talking. But if I haven't talked to you in years and you inbox me out of the blue with a business proposal rather than to catch up, don't bother because I'm not interested. It's just really sad that people have gotten to the point where they have to post this stuff on their Facebook walls or on a public forum somewhere for people to see because there's so many people coming at them trying to sell them stuff or trying to rope them up in a business endeavor. It's just sad that it's come to that point. You know what I mean? Like, we now have to be defensive ahead of time. We have to be kind of preemptive. It's like, preventative medical care. It's like before the sickness comes, you want to make sure you're healthy and eating well. Well, before the Hunbots come around, you want to put this post up on your wall just so they know. Though based on some of the correspondences that we've seen between some of these OPs and the Hunbots, a lot of times even posts like this won't stop them from trying. So I hope this worked out, and I hope they got left alone because it really sounds like that they were fed up. Join Bumble to make some new friends, and this is what I find instead. Too harsh? Okay, so green is the Hunbot, gray is the OP, and as you can see, the Hunbot's post there at the top was cut off, and you can only see about half of the sentence, which, if we read it together, is absolutely enough to give you a hint about what she's trying to do here.
So that I can retire from my corporate career in the next few years.
Sounds familiar enough already. Don't even need to know the whole sentence. In fact, I think I already know the whole sentence. And then the OP says, "Oh, cool. What are you building?"
Well, it's kind of a crazy story. I got introduced to a couple who retired in their 30s. I was blown away by how humble they are, how much they give back, and how they live. I convinced them to spend some time with me and mentor me.
Let me guess. Blah, blah, multi-level marketing, blah, blah. I should read Business of the 21st Century, blah, blah. It's not a pyramid scheme, blah, blah. I know there were no more blah, blahs. I just wanted to say it again. Girl, it's not cool that you come on this app and try to seek out vulnerable women to drag them into your crooked idea of a business. Shame on you. Well, if you're worried that that was too harsh, I personally don't feel that it was, and I think I'm someone that tends to lean more on the edge of like, take the high road kind of a thing. And I think you did here. You definitely said exactly what this person did, which was come on this app and try to sell their pyramid scheme to you. That's absolutely true. Clearly, I mean, the statement that the Hunbot says, I've never heard anyone say that who wasn't involved in something like this, right? I mean, they met a couple who had retired in their 30s. They're super humble. They give back. They live some really amazing way, very high quality life. And then apparently they convinced that couple to spend time with them and like teach them their ways. It's all just so strange. Yeah. Red flags everywhere. And just the sheer audacity of coming onto a social app like this, where it's a social meet and greet type app where you're trying to meet people for one reason or another. And then to come on there and be like, oh, hi, I'm interested in you. Just kidding. I want you to become my downline. I just feel like that this is breaking some sort of guideline, violating some sort of rule or something that this social media app probably has. Yeah, definitely violating something. I don't know. Maybe it's not. This just seems wrong to me, okay? I think that that's wrong to come onto these apps and then all of a sudden try to sell you stuff like it's just rude. It's rude. Don't do that. Not nice. Bad. Why do they think we'll believe this? She gets around 3 to 4 likes on any given It Works post. So who does she think she's fooling?
Y'all, I promise I'll get back to your messages tomorrow morning. But Mama's gotta sleep. If you're waiting to hear from me for an interview time, just hang in there, hearts. My schedule's a little booked, and I'm working my best to squeeze everyone in for the week. Fire. I'll message everyone back tomorrow morning. Praying hands. Bless.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like they're trying to create some sort of FOMO here, or trying to create this illusion. Oh, sorry. Fear of missing out. If you didn't know what that was. I just learned that this year too. So if you didn't know that before, don't feel bad. Like, that's new to me too. But they're definitely trying to create the illusion that people are just crawling at their door, trying to get into to learn this opportunity, that people are just clamoring to figure out how they made their success, made their big monies, the monies, how they did it, how they managed to get all this time. So much so that they have no time to apparently schedule in these interviews, but whatever. So that's really sad, I guess. It just is kind of part of that delusional part of being in these MLMs. You just have to keep making these posts and keep making it seem like you're on the grind and that this is something desirable, and you have to really keep pushing that, and that is something that your upline keeps pushing on you and their upline keeps pushing on them, and that's kind of the whole thing. It's just this big cycle of delusion that's passed down, and it's almost like a survival technique. I think it's kind of like when you realize that you've been doing the wrong thing and it's the worst thing ever and you don't know how else to get out of it, sometimes the only thing you can do to survive is to just disassociate and buckle down, I guess. And this is one of those cases. Maybe, I don't know her personal life, but it just seems like this happens a lot, and it does seem to be an overarching theme with people working within these companies. So I don't know. This is really sad. You definitely read a lot of stories of people eventually burning out on this type of stuff. People that we know who are actually subscribers to this channel who are former Huns can attest to the fact that this type of attitude and having to constantly post like this was exhausting, and that there is a burnout that comes from it. There is an emotional tax. So I don't know. This is hard to keep up over long term. And especially once you realize that your friends and family and everyone isn't looking at it and not liking it and not being interested. Maybe it does start to sink in, but I don't know. Fiancé's friend confessed that Young Living is ruining him and his wife's lives. My fiancé has a friend whose wife is very into Young Living. She had her own cards made up, and her entire Facebook presence is just about essential oils. It's obviously annoying as heck, but we're never really around her, so when we are, I'm just polite and pretend she's not trying to sell me crap. Apparently, the husband finally confided in my fiancé about how much money they're actually losing. The depressing thing is, he's the only one that works, and she is convinced that one day it's going to make them rich. He told my fiancé he's pouring all their money into it and hopes soon it will start paying for itself. To top it off, they hardly have any friends anymore because everybody is sick of getting the hard sell from her. MLMs really do ruin lives. Oh, well, for their sake, I hope that it works out. I hope that she gets out of that, and I hope she wakes up. And if not, I hope that your fiancé's friend gets himself out of it and far away from that mess, because, sometimes you can't stop a sinking ship, and that's just kind of the reality of things sometimes, isn't it? Ugh. Man, this stuff really is harsh. And I know I laugh at these things a lot, and I do enjoy making these videos, but sometimes I see posts like this. Well, not sometimes, like every time I make a video, I see a post like this. And it just makes you realize the real gravity of what these MLMs do to people. It's not just the superficial, let's laugh at their silly posts and all the emojis. I mean, that stuff's fun, and I do like laughing at it. But there's like a real cost. There's a real effect that this has on people's lives, a very negative effect. And, You've heard me read some stories before. Marriages ruined, friendships ruined, family relationships ruined. Oh, and you know the MLM companies, the people that are running it, the uplines, the whoever's, they don't care. They don't, because they're just as stressed out and desperate as the people below them. Because when you have success in an MLM, it doesn't mean it's gonna last. It means you have to work even harder now than ever to maintain, because it's just that slippery of a slope. Oh, okay, let's try to find some positive stuff. Do I have anything positive in this video? Did I do that again? Hopefully not. Sorry, guys. Was scrolling through an acquaintance's genuinely beautiful wedding photo when out of nowhere, wah wah. Oh, man. Yeah, it would be a beautiful photo if not for that. And I like the colors, you know, like that kind of soft lavender. It's really pretty. It's very aesthetically pleasing. And then it's just like, bam, essential oils. It's like, wow, even on your wedding day, you can't stop selling the stuff for 2 seconds. Oh, because it's a great opportunity. I mean, you have a captive audience. If you think about it, I guess from an MLM perspective, from your upline's perspective, it's probably the perfect situation, because you have all these people who have to listen to you and look at your pictures. So I guess there's that, but I don't know. If you took out the picture, if you took out, like, you just cut out the little essential oil bottles in that photo, it'd be a very nice picture. And hopefully she didn't do this in too many of her other photos. Otherwise, ew. But I guess it's a good thing that this person's just an acquaintance then, right? Who in their right mind is going to wear a shirt that says Shampoo Babe? It's a really good question. Probably someone who works for Monet. But really, who else would ever wear a shirt that just said Shampoo Babe? Why? What are you telling the world? Like, I am a babe who is all about shampoo. It's just a hygiene product. I mean, that's like wearing a shirt that says hand soap babe. Why would you wear that? I mean, I can't think of anything. I'm trying to think of something clever why that would be okay. You know, my usual, like, oh, devil's advocate, why? Only reason why I would imagine it would be okay. And I got nothing. I have absolutely nothing. Oh, okay. If you were working at a hair washing, like, big hair show, like a hair show thing, and you were one of the people who was tasked with washing people's hair, and you needed the mass amount of crowd of people to know who to go to get their hair washed, you would want them to wear the shirt Shampoo Babe, so that the people on the floor would know, oh, that's the person with the shampoo. But in which case there'd also have to be like a hairspray babe and like a flat iron babe, and it would be extensive. So I don't know. This is just dumb. This is dumb. There's no good reason for this. Shampoo Babe. I don't know. Let me know down below. Would you guys like to wear a shirt that says Shampoo Babe? Am I just blowing this all out of proportion, kind of like I usually do? Let me know. This one is sad because it's so true. I have actually seen it with mine own eyes, you guys. This last weekend was the farmer's market in my cute little town that I live in, and I'm not kidding. There was a Young Living vendor there. It's happening. Why? Okay, I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna stop crying and I'm gonna read this. I'll lament my tiny town's death later. MLMs have nearly ruined farmers markets, art fairs, and vendor events. It was Oktoberfest nearly everywhere this past weekend, and where I am we had a big festival that closed down several streets for music, food, vendors, etc. Wife and I made our way down there, and when we walked through the centralized vendor area, I would say about 90% of them are MLMs, and every single one of these people look miserable and resentful of the fact that nobody is clamoring for their oils, incense, jewelry, CBD, wraps, and leggings. It was painful to walk through there, and it made me wish we could go back before these things became so massively mainstream. My wife mentioned some markets and vendor events won't even let MLMs register, and I think that's the best thing. I would rather walk through these events than look at people who look like they're halfway to understanding the gigantic mistake they made on their way from stage 1 to stage 2 of grief. Oh, I'm like evil laughing over here. Pardon me. Yeah, so this is a thing that's really happening, and if you guys have seen this at any art fair, or if you are like a vendor at one of these events and you are someone who makes crafts or any other awesome artisanal wares and you've seen this happen, Let me know down below, because this just seems to be just so widespread now, and it's happening so much faster than I thought it would happen. And it's like something's got to be done. And I'm definitely here for these things banning MLMs from registering with them. I think that that is a good thing, because they're the opposite of a small business vendor. It's just, no matter how many ways they try to break it down, that they're a small business, it's not the same thing. It takes 2 seconds of research on Google, on the Google machine, and you will know the difference. And it is not the same. Okay.
Yes, this spray foundation is that good. Ready for me to color match you? Some shades are already on back order. You can clearly see why.
Oh, Unique, it's been a minute. Good to see you again, sort of. Well, one thing I can see for sure, before anything else, is that the shadows, the shading, okay. We know that with Facetune and with those awesome filtering little programs, there are so many things you can do to a photo to change the way things look, to smooth things out, to change the color of stuff, the shape, etc. We know this. So knowing that, looking at the photo on the left, and then looking immediately at the photo on the right, besides the fact that there are no tattoos, is there anything you notice first right away where you're like, no, that's different. That does look kind of different. And of course, there could be reasons why, but I think we all know why. Okay, and like, despite the tattoos, you can still see that pretty clearly, am I right? And then, okay, the neck tattoos, you can see kind of a shadow on the photo on the right. You could very easily use some sort of editing tool that can remove discoloration if something hasn't been fully covered up. It's something that we've used for many a year to cover up zits and any other sort of weird discoloration we may or may not have, or that we perceive as weird, right? It's always about perception. But I don't know, this is such a load of horse crap, and we've seen before in other videos, not ones I've done, but I believe in Illuminati's video, they had a video where they had picture proof that Unique had stolen an ad, like from I think it was like Dermacol, or one of those really high coverage concealer foundations. They had stolen some photographs from that ad and had used it for theirs. So it wasn't even their own foundation that was covering up a sleeve of tattoos. It was some other brand. So not that saying that that's what's happening here. I'm just saying that that doesn't exactly incur a lot of confidence within me that they wouldn't lie about other stuff or try other ways to pull the wool over my eyes. So I don't know. Again, I could be blowing this all out of proportion. Maybe that foundation really is just that good, but I really doubt it, you guys. Like, really, really doubt it. So quick backstory. This is a conversation between two friends. Friend A in the blue text is very concerned about friend B in the gray text, who is, I guess, has a more of a fragile health state, and they have recently found an interest in Thrive patches. And so friend in the blue, the concerned friend, is basically having this conversation, voicing her concern. And there's quite a bit to unpack, and we will do our best. I will not be reading it in the Hunbot voice just because, as you will eventually see, this goes kind of south. So I just don't feel right mocking it, even though it is mockable. You know what I mean. You guys are good people. You understand. Hey, I was looking into Thrive because I love the idea of easy nutrition, but I'm not sure if you know that the FDA has had many people end up in the hospital from using this, and the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, gave it an F. I know how fragile your health is, and I just want to make sure you're safe. Thank you for your concern. I was very, very skeptical. So far, I feel amazing, and my body is responding positively. If you ever want a sample to see how it affects you, please let me know, heart. By the way, that pic of blank this morning might be the most adorable thing ever. Good, I'm always trying to find something I can take while nursing. Don't take that while nursing. Don't do it. Thank you. My upline is an RN at the ER and a dietitian if you want to talk to them too. Okay, I have to stop and unpack this before we go any further. Her upline is a registered nurse at the emergency room and also a dietitian. There's so much going on here. Okay. Then she sends some photos of before and after. These are almost 4 weeks apart. I mean, she looks like she's more tan. Maybe she's trimmed down. It's really hard to tell. It looks like she might be further away in the second photo. And it looks like maybe she's really reaching back and arching her back more. Again, it's hard to tell, but based on what we know about before and after photos, it's probably a bunch of hooey. And then the concerned friend says, "Are you in the ICU?" And the Hunbot would post back, "Yes. What's wrong? Really bad DKA from a cold. My gap is closed, hopefully moving to a step down unit soon. And if you want to know what DKA is, I had to look it up too because I'm learning all this terminology now, so I should know it, but I don't. But DKA stands for diabetic ketoacidosis, which is a buildup of acids in your blood, and it can happen when your blood sugar is too high for too long. It can be life-threatening, but it usually takes many hours for it to kind of like work its way out. So that's what's going on here, and we're not going to go ahead and claim that Thrive had anything to do with it. However, the friend does have a good question and says, did you talk to the doctors about those patches? And the Hun replies, yeah, they said they're great. It was just my cold. So I kind of doubt that. I kind of doubt that there was a conversation between you and a physician where they said, yeah, they're great. Definitely keep taking them, especially if you're having these issues, the diabetic ketoacidosis. It kind of sounds intense and something that should be taken care of. And I don't think that any good doctor would really recommend you taking extra supplements of unknown origin. But like, what do I know, right? What do I know? Seems like very little these days. But this is just messy and awful. And I really hope your friend is okay. I hope they'd stop taking those patches, especially if they have some fragile health conditions. It just makes me very concerned. And you're a really, really good friend for being worried. And since you're nursing, please do not take those patches, okay? Just don't. Anything else? Well, not anything else. Just do your research. That's all I ask. Do your research. Talk to your doctor. And I don't trust this RN who works at the ER who is also a dietitian and also is selling patches to people who are diabetics. I have a lot of issues with that. Hospital Hun. I work at a hospital as a housekeeper and was asked by one of the nurses to go into a postpartum room to grab the trash and pick up a little bit. When I got into the room, I immediately noticed a colorful laminated sign that said something to the effect of no epidural and no C-section because I want to have my baby the real and natural way and absolutely no vaccines because chemicals are blah, 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 blah. Eye roll. There was also a handmade sign leaning up against the wall that said, welcome future boss baby. Oh no, oh God. Oh, they're starting early. This room smells absolutely wonderful, so I mistakenly mentioned that it smells really good. That was your first mistake. And asked what kind of perfume she has on. The mother immediately perks up and points to a large black case and goes,
they're essential oils. I sell doTERRA because they're the best.
And then she goes on a few minute spiel about how they can be used for smell, vaccine replacement, spiritual and bodily healing, and how I should consider quitting my lowly cleaning job to make my own success, etc., etc. I was like, yeah, that's nice, but I really need to go like right now. And then basically ran out of that room to process what just happened. I overheard the nurses talking later that night and they said she was trying to sell to them too. So yeah, that was my first run-in with a Hun. Wow, that is a dedicated Hun right there. A dedicated boss babe. She is in labor, she is having a baby, and she is ready to get you into her downline. It's like horrible, but I'm laughing, you know? And I 100% believe this is real, even though I want to believe this isn't real. This is, I'm sure, 100% real. Like, I work in a restaurant, you guys, so I get to see some people do some things. I get to see people in public just doing their things as they do. And people do some stuff that if you were to tell someone else, they would say, that is fake. You are making that up. And I'm telling you, no, it is real. And I believe this. Oh, well, good for you. You're way better off. You don't need that MLM to make it. You already make it. You got a good job. And I'm sure that working at the hospital comes with great benefits. And I'm sure it works for you and your schedule. And that's just, in general, very condescending for someone to ever assume that you even want to do quote unquote better. Because again, it's all about perception, right? Okay. Wow. That was intense. It's time for everyone's favorite segment of the video. It's time for the wholesome moment of the day. Let's see who you guys sent over. The animal featured in today's video is Pikachu, a resident of British Columbia and also very aptly named. This submission was sent by Adrian, and I have 3 photos for Pikachu because his personality is just a little too big for one. Here is the message Adrian sent along with the photos. Here is my bird, Pikachu. He's technically a rescue as he was stuck in a pet store for almost a year to be rehomed as he was getting into fights with his previous owner's birds. I visited him frequently during this time, and finally, in January, a few months after the death of my beloved Budgie, I thought it time to have another bird and took him home. He has a bald spot with a mysterious scar, a funky toe, as I call it, from when he broke it one time, and a big, sassy attitude. He hates other birds, but because he's in another cage, gets along with Genji, my sister's Budgie. I call him a grumpy old man all the time, and he's about 7 to 8 years old and takes a ton of naps. I don't know much about his past, as his previous owners didn't tell me much, but all I know is that he lost his mate at some point due to unexpected sickness and has never been the same since. He hisses at everyone who comes near, except for me, and he still can be a brat with me, but I know he loves me, as he loves sitting near me and sleeping near me, and frantically calls out for me whenever I leave the room or hears the front door open. He's a pure soul who didn't deserve whatever happened to him. He's got an unmistakable pew noise, which he is very good at teaching budgies, as Genji has picked up each and every one of his noises. I love him so much, and I miss him so much, as I am in university right now, and I couldn't bring him with me. But he's under good care with my family, and I can't wait to see him again. Pikachu, that sass. Also, they put a little side note. He loves getting pictures taken and would photobomb the other birds at the pet store. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Thank you so much for sending this and including the story. And I have to say, Pikachu could not have been a more perfect name. And I love the fact that he's a grumpy old man. I myself, at one point when I was a young child, rescued budgies. We call them parakeets out here in our neck of the woods. I know they're probably the same thing. I don't know. Correct me below if I'm wrong. But either way, we had one, and I had this old guy that we had found. He was in the front yard of some neighbor's house, just out there, and he didn't belong to anybody, and it scared my mom. She was so sure a cat was going to eat him, because that's probably what was going to happen. Anyway, we took him home, and I named him Mr. Peepers, and we went and got him a girlfriend at the pet store, and they ended up living a nice, long, happy life together, and it was fun. And parakeets are just, they're weird. They're funny little critters, and I just loved hearing this story, and it kind of brought back a lot of memories of Mr. Peepers, because he was kind of a cranky old man as well, and we were never quite sure of his age, so we were always kind of guessing, but he lived at least 8 years with us, so who knows. But thank you so much, Adrian. This was wonderful to read. And if you're looking to get a new member of your family, I definitely recommend to Adopt Not Shop. Check out your local shelters, your local humane societies, donate if you can, volunteer if you can, and don't forget to spay and neuter your pets. And if you want to see a photo of your pets here, then go and send it to my email, which is in my channel description. It's also theburrowingfox@gmail.com. Go ahead and send me an email, and you will see your pets here eventually. Alright, Foxtrotters, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked that video, please hit that like button down below. If you have any good comments or suggestions, please leave that down below as well. I love to read what you have to say, and I love interacting with you all. If you've not already, that subscribe button to become a Foxtrotter, come join the den. Den Mother would love to have you. And I'm going to link my Patreon here somewhere. Feel free to check it out, and if not, no big deal. I'm just glad you came to spend some time with me. Alright, folks, I hope you enjoyed that video. I had a lot of fun making it. I am excited for this Octavia video that I am working on. I promise it's happening. I am making it. It's just that these r/AntiMLM videos are a little easier to kind of like push out when I am super busy, just to make sure that there's still some content flowing. Plus, I really enjoy doing them. They make me laugh. Well, except for the stories that make me angry. But overall, it's a positive experience. So, yeah, so look forward to that Octavia video. And as always, folks, until the next video, take care.